So here's my first attempt at a IoT, Internet of Things project. It's a little tiny EPS 8266 12E. It's one of the biggest ones that you can currently get, and it's actually, the entire thing is only that little chip, and the whole thing could run. It doesn't actually need the serial converter and everything on it. And I have a bucking, or actually a boost and buck regulator system for my battery, so that I can charge off USB or charge off of solar once I get the whole thing set up. And that manages charging this guy. This has a protection circuit on as well to protect the lithium. And then it goes to this, which raises it to 5 volt and then down to 3.3. So I do have 5 volt if needed. But this uses one wire sensors that I currently have one running outside and one inside. And that's what's giving me my different temperatures. And it gives a graph and everything here. And then these are based off of what the difference is. So right now, since it's 12 degrees cooler outside, cold's lit up. If it drops to a less than 10 degree difference either way, it'll go to moderate, and then if it goes plus 11, it'll go to hot. This is going to hopefully later on control a fresh air exchange, so that you can get some nice fresh air into the house. Because once you start insulating and increasing insulation in a house, it starts getting stuffy. So you want to exchange. And this is using Blink, which is a free program right now. They're going to be changing it a little bit this in January to where you have to pay for some things, but most of the stuff I do is probably going to stay in the free. I have the battery percentage is based on percentage. It's set a little too sensitive now, so it actually is picking up the ripple in the battery power, but it is doing okay. And then this is actually the serial readout on what's going on here. So it's updating everything with all of the temperatures and doing the calculations through all of this, which we'll see if it can actually pick it up here. So this is telling the server to start. This is actually the end loop right here. So once everything finishes, or sorry, down here is the end. So it runs through this, it sees that this doesn't apply, so it skips through all of this down to here. Then it keeps running through, checking everything, and this is actually looking for one wire sensors, which are the thermostats that I currently have. They're they only need ground and a data line. They're parasitic, so they actually get power off the data line. Then it goes into the reset, getting the address, writing everything, writes the address and all the information from the sensor. And then I have it run through, starting right here. It actually runs through the array multiple times. Sorry, it's actually all the way up here. This tells it to run through for as many sensors as it picks up, or 8, whichever it reaches. Once it gets done, then it runs this if command when it runs out of addresses. So it can go up to 8 sensors on a single wire, and that's just me limiting it. It can go up to 65,535 sensors, or 65,534, because the board is the 5th. Anyways, once it gets down through, it runs through and it does calculations on this, gets the Celsius temperature, does the math to get a Fahrenheit. Then I actually drop it from a float into a integer, so that I can do more calculations with it. And then what this does is this actually writes the data to different pins. So for every sensor that's out there, it'll write the Fahrenheit temperature to the corresponding pin for the sensor. up to 8 right now because there's 0 through 7. Once it gets done with all of this, it still has the data in it, and it goes up to the beginning here and says, okay, I've loaded up all of the sensors, or all of the addresses for data, and it'll start actually printing out everything that's coming on over here. And you can see right now the server is disconnecting for some reason. Usually that's when my ping increases, or if it has a refresh issue. So it continues going on, doing the math on everything here, takes the battery percentage, breaks it down into a percentage format, loads it into a string and a buffer, and then writes it to pin 11, which is where this guy gets its data. So it writes to that, which I definitely don't need a 750 millisecond refresh rate on the board. It's actually writing to this quite a bit slower. But then it looks at down here is where it actually looks at the differential temperature, and based off the differential temperature, it will do different things. So you can see on here it says cold, and that makes virtual pin 12 high, and you can see right now it makes it high, so it's lit up. Moderate and hot are not, because it is currently not a moderate temperature or hot temperature. It's 12 degrees cooler outside than inside. And it is pretty accurate. If you look at this, it says 56.97. Down at our weather station, which is about a mile away from me, it's currently 58. So that's doing pretty good, and hopefully it'll work for the project that I'm planning on. Hopefully going to make a fully autonomous semi-learning thermostat with this, and solar controller. So it'll all be one. It's going to be web hosted. Right now this is all using an app for Blink, but it's going to change to an actual web server hopefully soon. So that is what I've been doing with that. And if you have any questions about Arduino, don't ask me. I have no clue really what I'm doing. I'm just sort of learning on the way. But it's fun, and actually get to finally see something really work. So, yep. Hopefully it continues working. We'll see. See you later.